WNBA Wolves mid-season prediction with the WNBA All-Star Game going on. I want to give like my official like mid-season like halfway point. How do you want to say it? Like overall predictions or like why I see them right now from MVP, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, Coach of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. We'll start with Most Improved. I think this is really obvious to me. It's Jessica Shepard. Yes, this offense she's been given way more of opportunity and stuff like that. But like I think like the skill set for passing or scoring, her ability to be a point forward, it's just like when she signed her contract for over $1 million, I thought like wow, that's like an overpay. Like she's a solid, nice player, but she's now worth over $1 million, which is like close to a max for this new WMCBA. But she has really proved me wrong. I think she's a really good player. A well deserved probably All Star. Congrats to her. So I think it's really cool. And I personally don't think there's much of a conversation as in like who's second. I think she's the one way leader. MVP, I'm gonna go with Aja Wilson. I think Olivia Myers is second. I think Paige Beckles is not that far third. I'm not really sure 4 or 5 or who the rest would be in top ahead, but I think Ages has established and proved she's great. And I think what's going to help her is with the return of Lisa Collier. I think if the first game's an example, it's going to like diminish like her Olivia Meyer stats and stuff like that. So if unless they like she can continue to put up like good numbers and just run away with the number one seed, then I think it could be a real conversation. And I think Paige could also be in the conversation if Dallas could climb the rankings and can win some of these top matchups. So H.O. Wilson to me is the clear. Not only I think she's the clear MVP, I think she's defensive player of the year. That's a little bit more of an award I would need to pay a lot more closely attention to while watching these games and stuff like that. But I think she's established herself as the defensive anchor she is. And the games that she missed, like they struggled defensively, you know. And I think that's a sign of a great defender is if your team's missing you and your team struggles on a side of the ball, I think that shows great value of where you are. So now I think it's great for her MVP status, but her defensive player of the year status as well. But that's something I could talk about. Rookie deal is clearly Olivia Miles. I think she's the clear cut number one. But like I was saying, MVP, if her managed stats could decrease and like Olivia Miles and Courtney Williams and Cam McBride could overtake over opponents, it could be a lot more interesting in ways. I actually think second person would probably be Sydney Taylor. Especially since she moved to the starting lineup after the whole outing in Indiana when she dropped 30 there. I think like that could be a really interesting tight ways, and I think it's something like, and if Kiki Weiss could come back and could contribute at a high level, let's see what happens with AZ Fudd. Let's see what happens when Kiki Weiss comes back as well, and some other rookies. But I think Sydney has really established herself as the clear second best like rookie to year stats. I'm not saying she's like the second like she's going to be the second best rookie overall, but like she's really taking advantage of opportunity and she's won with it. And also for how her case is like in the game against New York, in my opinion, she was the best player in the floor. And look what's a floor in New York and say, hey, you're probably the best player in the floor is insane. So but it's Olivia Miles, she's been incredible and for the first half of the season, clearly belongs to Olivia Miles. And then for coach of the year, my last thing, this is tough. Shirley's is in the conversation because of like people underestimate her and her coaching clinic. 22-6 on what's the overall. I think Nine Nicasa could be in the conversation being 19-8. I think Jose Fernando, who after that call out, has really coached his butt off his first year to 18-9. Shout out to Washington's coach, who's 14-12. I can't think of his name on the top of my head. So those would be my 4 personal top choices for Coach of the Year. I don't really, I would say, have a preference right now, but other than that, like those are the four that would come to mind. So yeah, those are just some of my thoughts of the mid-season award races for the WNBA.